We're a few minutes late. Sorry about that. I had some technical difficulties. Maya Metzel here from the HealingStrong team with Mr. Jim Mann. Good morning, Jim. How are you?
Morning. I'm not your technical difficulty either.
No,
Okay,
no,
good.
not this time.
All right. People see the old guy, they go, he probably couldn't figure out how to turn his computer on again.
Yeah, it's sad you guys have that reputation, right?
It is very sad.
I'm sorry, I won't project that. Everybody's a new person and capable of anything.
That's right.
So we're here with Mr. Jim Mann, who's the host of the I Am Healing Strong podcast, along with Ali Powell. But for Testimony Tuesdays and these reflections, Jim and I usually come on and talk about the previous episode that was released the day before, which was Robert Scott Bell yesterday. And he is a gentleman who knows a lot of things, very well spoken, has been with Healing Strong since the beginning, actually. He was a speaker, I believe, at the very first conference. So he's a good friend and was willing to come on and talk to our audience and talk about homeopathy and various minerals that he knows about. So I'm curious, how did the interview go? Because he's like a seasoned professional here. He speaks. This is what he does.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I had to really pull it out of him because he didn't know a lot of stuff, but
Yeah.
I had to feed him the info.
Yeah.
He was overwhelming to someone like myself, and not putting myself down, but I mean, I'm not in his arena.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, he started off life with a lot of allergies and sicknesses as a child, all the way up till he was like 19. And the doctors pretty much helped him, not at all, because nothing would work with medicine.
They
Um,
helped, but it was in a different direction.
yeah. And then they finally said, yeah, you might grow out of it. So,
That
that's, yeah.
that I do have to say that made me chuckle quite a bit. So I did find some humor in that, even though it's not fun. And at the time, it's not funny.
Well,
But
no, looking back, it is. It's kind
yes,
of like in radio, we always made fun of the engineers because, they have all this knowledge and usually they just say, well, try to reboot. So it usually fixes the problem. I thought, why are we paying them? We can reboot.
yeah. You write
Dang it.
that down and just remind yourself on a post-it note.
Yes. Before you call the engineer, reboot. But
Yeah.
yeah, I really enjoy talking with him just because he is a professional. He,
Mhm.
he does this for a living and he just spews this uh, information out and then he stops and waits for me for the next question. And the weird part is normally I just kind of guide the conversation. That's like my style. But I mean, he's like flooding me with all this information. And then when he stops at a landing point, there's like a crossroad for me or several crossroads. I thought, man, I can go this direction off of that or this direction. And like, I had to think really quick, like, all right, where do we want to take it? Because he can explain all these things that I am just hearing for the first time. Especially, I've not really heard a lot about silver and copper.
Mhm.
Um, I see a lot of advertisements about clothing with copper in it, and I'm
Mhm.
thinking, is that I know copper is healthy, when it's in your system. But does it really work when you wear it, or is that just something? And I asked the question. My question sounds like a dumb question, but it was real. Does that stuff work, or is it a scam? People just
Yeah.
selling stuff like copper outfits, but he says it does work, but it's not as good as when it with you taking it inwardly. And I thought, well, that's just crazy. I'm the son of a plumber. I grew up around a lot of copper, a lot of copper pipes. Maybe that helped me out because
Yeah.
you
That's
know,
interesting because, yeah, who knows? That exposure you had could have been helping a small amount because, I mean, wearing it, right, it's on our skin. So we have to depend on it going through our skin and then getting into our body and our bloodstream. Whereas you're ingesting it, you're like getting right to the problem and feeding your body. So it is something that I haven't explored too much either in my own baby step journey. Although I have gone by his booth because we were at the Be Healthy Utah conference last year and he was there as well. He did an interview with Susie, our founder and president, and he had some samples. And so I actually kind of was asking the same thing, like, what does this do? Why is this a product? And then was able to try it. And it's literally just like drinking water. It doesn't taste metally or anything. So yeah, that was silver that I tried, but I wonder if the copper is a little different. It's probably tinted a little bit more.
Yeah, so I'm going to be looking into that more of it. It's just when I talk to somebody like that, it just makes me realize there's so much information that we do know now that is suppressed to us if we just stick with and again, not putting down doctors, but if you go to a doctor that all they know is what kind of medicine matches some kind of ailment, which is what they taught. If that's just your world, I mean, that's what the blinders show. Okay, you got to find medicine for whatever is hurting you.
Yeah.
When when you look at God's creation, which He made copper, I understand, He made silver, and He made all these plants,
Yep.
all these properties. Like, man, there's so much available to us that makes more sense. And he widened my horizon, and I'm a little irritated with that because I'm just trying to figure out the little bit I've learned so far.
You're just treading water right now.
Yeah.
Come on. Now I have to go over here and figure this out. I'm sorry, Jim.
It's a good thing, though.
Maybe, maybe it'll do you some good and make you, I don't know, have more peace in your life. I know you're a very stressed out person.
Yes. Oh, I can't take it.
Yeah.
It's good to know there's that much information out there and people who can help you with that. You can always go to his website or watch his show and get all this info, but it comes rapid fire.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to take a notepad with you and record it so you can play it back.
Yes. It was a really good interview. I really enjoyed it. And so if you haven't listened to it, we are on Buzzsprout and iHeartRadio. And then the link is in our posts that are on Facebook. And then it's in our link tree on Instagram. It is the most recent because it just feeds it straight down. So the most recent episode on top is him. And we hope you enjoy it. It is a fun, very informative, and he goes back a ways with HealingStrong, celebrating our 10-year this year. And so it was fun having him back on because he was there at the first conference. So why don't you give details about our 10-year and what we're doing this year?
What are we doing? We are going to be at the Met Church, which is a facility in Houston, Texas, the small little town of Houston.
Yeah.
That is coming up September 29th and 30th, obviously the last weekend of September. It's going to be a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. 2-day event, which ends with a worship service, just giving God all the credit, all the glory, because he's the one that, put this in Susie and other people's hearts. And it's just been growing ever since. And we just want to stop and make sure we thank the person who is really gets the credit for it. And of course, that is God.
Yeah.
We want to see you there. It's going to be a lot of fun. We got room for you. But we don't have, an unlimited amount of room. So you need to act fast.
Yes. So go to the website, healingstrong.org, and it is there on the homepage. You will find a little blip there that talks about our conference, and it'll, I believe, take you to more information and more details, and you can submit your email to stay up to date as we input more details as they come up as well. So that way you literally know what happens or what is going to happen as we finalize all the details of this. So we do have a location. We do have an MC. Who's the MC, Mr. Jim?
Some guy you probably haven't heard of him, Chris Wark or something like that. He's new to the scene.
Yes. Well, for some are just learning who he is, which I just love to see, like, people I've been following over the years, like, gain more exposure than just how the Lord's using them. And Chris is one of those. And so he's an MC. He's a good friend of Healing Strong as well. Was there in the beginning at the first conference. So it'll be fun to have him there for the weekend. So he is at chrisbeatcancer.com. And you can find our conference info at healingstrong.org. And Jim, you want to pass out your address so people can find you?
Here, my home address? Sure.
Yeah. We're just giving out all this info. You might as well share yours, right?
Yeah. manmadeproductions.com. How about that?
Oh, okay. Diverting. So the podcast too is on our website. If you don't want to go to Buzzsprout or the other locations that we have where we're found, it's healingstrong.org/podcast. And then you'll see Jim and Allie's picture there, and you'll just scroll down to get the list.
Yeah, I'm the pretty one in the picture.
Yep. All the hair.
Yes. That's me.
All right, Mr. Jim. Thank you for your time this morning.
All right. See ya.